What up, YouTube? It's been a while since I posted a review video, but recently I finished a couple of things. First one being this book. If you could see it, it's probably backwards in your screens, but anyways, you can see the picture. It's the seventh book in a series called Skulduggery Pleasant. So I guess this being the seventh book, I can't really catch you up to everything, but basically it takes place in Dublin, Ireland, where this 13-year-old girl named Stephanie Edgley, she has this Uncle Gordon who is a writer of horror fiction, and he mysteriously dies all of a sudden. So then when her family goes to the reading of his will, he passes along his entire house and estate and, collected works to her only, not her family, just her. And then one night when she's alone in his house, she realizes quickly, and very violently that the stories he wrote about were not fiction. They were actually stories about a magical community that mortals don't know exists, that is going on, kind of behind their backs. And then she meets this man called Skulduggery Pleasant, who's actually a walking skeleton. He's dead, but he's not dead. And she's fascinated by this magical world, and she kind of comes on as his kind of partner. He's a detective, and he's trying to keep the world safe by magical means and stuff like that. So they become this detective kind of duo, and then they go on all these adventures. So this is, like I said, this is the seventh book, and to start it off, all of a sudden mortals are developing these magical powers suddenly, with no explanation. So then they try to get to the bottom of it, because although some of it's harmless, there's some people, including this group of teens, who are abusing their powers and are just like leaving this body count in their wake, and so it has to be stopped. And then the common thread of all the people that have developed these powers are that they were given to them by this man named Argedian, which they met in their dreams. So then they kind of track down, through detective work, this Argedian fellow, and then they go on these adventures, and they into different dimensions and stuff. It's a really convoluted kind of end to the story, but really adventurous and fun. And the thing about these books is that although they are children's books, they're very funny on one hand, but also very dark on the other. People get like obliterated, they get exploded and turned inside out, and oh my god, it's the horror, right? But it's an awesome series. And so that was the seventh book, and I think there's three more that I have to read before it's done. And then the second thing was Event Horizon. I finished watching that the other night, and it's a movie from 1997, starring Lawrence Fishburne and Sam Neill. And I have no idea why I never watched it. I always knew of it, and it always looked like something that was right up my alley, but for some reason I just never got around to seeing it. The story behind it is, it's the year 2047, and the U.S. Aerospace Command receives this distress signal from the ship called the Event Horizon, which 7 years previous left on a mission to explore the outer reaches of the galaxy and see what was out there beyond, what mankind knew about. And but it's mysteriously suddenly went missing. It disappeared. So then they received this distress call 7 years later. So this Captain Miller, who's Lawrence Fishburne, and his crew aboard the Lewis and Clark are tasked with investigating the Event Horizon. And then Sam Neill plays a scientist named William Weir, who tags along on the mission. And then once they get underway to the destination, he kind of explains that the Event Horizon didn't blow up like people were led to believe due to a reactor leak or whatever it was. It actually, he is the scientist who designed this new means of travel called a gravity drive. So basically, this gravity drive folds time and space in on itself and allows a ship to theoretically travel from one point to another almost instantly, whereas by more conventional means it could take years to make that trip. So they don't know exactly what happened when it fired up the gravity drive 7 years ago, and where it's been and what happened. So when they do finally reach the ship and board it, they're surprised to find like zero bodies, zero indication of what went on. So their primary mission is to get the ship back up to power and salvage it and bring it back and you know, further their investigations and stuff. But as all the crew of the Lewis and Clark come over, they all start having these very personal hallucinations that are driving them all up the wall. And as things unfold and things get violent and things get even more crazy, Captain Miller is forced to concede what he doesn't want to, but that wherever the ship has been, it's almost become alive in itself. It's got a consciousness and it's making them all crazy, and and it becomes kind of a race for survival to get off the event horizon, get back on their ship after they repair it, and get the hell out of there, and blow up the event horizon in the process while they're leaving as well. So, but the event horizon does not want them to leave. So, it's a very neat ending. In William Weir becomes attached to his ship, and he kind of goes off the deep end, and he becomes kind of a bad guy in the end, along with the ship. And which is very cool seeing Sam Neill be a bad guy, because I'm just used to him being, you know, a super good guy, like in Jurassic Park and the other stuff that I have seen him in. So that was also very cool. So yeah, it's not like I was expecting like a deep space alien kind of adventure, but this is more like a horror slash thriller in space, and it was very awesome. I recommend watching it. Yeah, so that's all for now. I'm sure I'll have something else very soon, but good day to you for now.